This is an article from Variety. Jason Momoa says his son got cast in Dune 3 on his own, and I don't want to help him. He's 16 and holding stuff down with Denis Villeneuve. The replies to this, Jason Momoa says he did not help his son, Nicola Wolf, get cast in Dune 3, and he's done it all on his own, and the replies are just hilarious. They're like, sure. It's just kind of funny because when I saw this picture, there's actually not a lot of pictures of Nicola Wolf because he hasn't been in anything before. This is his first job. So he's only had like a couple images that were out there floating around. And when I saw this one, it's like he looks even more like his dad, which of course he does. He looks so much like his dad. He is the spitting image. And I'm sorry, it's like, okay, he looks even less like Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet. I mean, look at him. He's almost as tall as his dad. He's tall. He has this big build already. And his face shape is like his dad. It's this almost diamond head shape with the square jawline. He doesn't look like Paul and Chani. This is going to be awkward. He's definitely taller than Timothée Chalamet. I wonder how tall he is. The problem is that both Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet are pretty small framed. They also both have these upside down triangular shaped faces. So yeah, the jawline is different. The head shape is different. His build is different. He just looks like the spitting image of his dad. And look, I get it. Like, this is your first job. And I'm sure when you had your conversation with Denis, I'm sure he wouldn't have cast you if he wasn't like sure that this could work. I get it. He's being protective, Dad. But the fact is, your son is Nicola Wolf Momoa. And I think he's also the son of Lisa Bonet. Would he have gotten a meeting with Denis in the first place if he wasn't your son? If his last name wasn't Momoa? I don't know. But they did meet, and he said he was holding his own with the director, so we'll see how that works out. But what really just stood out to me in this whole thing is, even from the last picture that I saw of him, I guess, was maybe a year or two ago, but it looked like at that point he could pass for Paul and Chani's son. But this picture, he is the spitting image of his dad. He looks even less like both Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet. This is gonna offer up all kinds of awkward conversations during the marketing. But I will say, something that occurred to me while looking over that story of Nicola Wolf and seeing just how much he resembles his dad, Jason Momoa. That picture of that interview with Jason Momoa, this was for the red carpet premiere of Momoa's new show, Chief of War, on Apple TV+. So this was really recent, and filming is starting right now. So this is what he's going to look like. And the fact that he so closely resembles his dad, I just feel like this would be so cool if instead, they're not going to do this, but the first thing that came to my mind is that would be such a cool way to introduce hate, to introduce the Gola clone of Duncan Idaho if he's in a teenage form, if he's still cooking in the axolotl tank and we see him growing and he's first introduced as being a teenager, being young. And the conspirators, Cytail of the Bane Tlaylax and the Reverend Mother and Edric, they could all like be gathered around and talking about their plans for the psychological poison to take down Paul Atreides while gathered around the tank. And to see, that young version of Duncan Idaho in the tank and them talking about their plans. I think that would be such a cool set piece, a way to introduce him to where it's so strange what they've done, to kind of introduce what their plans are. The Bene Tlaylax too, introduce them and what they do as these geneticists and what they've created. I think it would just put us in that space to be suspicious of the Gola clone of Duncan Idaho. What have they done? What is the programming that they've done? And right before they cut away from the scene, if Nicola Wolf opened his eyes and you see the metal eyes, oh, that'd be so cool. And I was just thinking about this today and I'm like, oh man, now I want to see that. I think that would be so cool to introduce the Gola, to introduce the Bene Tlaylax, build that foundation of suspicion when it comes to hate. What is their plans for him? How is he going to be intended to take down Paul? I think that'd be such a cool way to do that. And especially since he looks like the spitting image of his dad, Nicola Wolf, in relation to Jason Momoa. That just makes total sense to me. And I just started to wonder, why is that not the first thing that comes to your mind when casting? When you see Jason Momoa's son and how much he resembles him, why wasn't that the first thing that came to your mind? Why is like Leto the second first. And I think that would have been perfect because it's not an acting role. It was just him in the tank looking mysterious and looking sinister with that sinister air of his surroundings. And then I just got into this place where now I'm disappointed that we're not going to see that. My imagination just started going of the possibilities. I just made something up and now I'm disappointed I'm not going to see it. And I also thought too, could this be like 4D chess? Could this be plans within plans? And Denis Villeneuve actually does have this plan to cast Nicole Wolf for the young version of Duncan Idaho. And it's a red herring for the casting of Leto II. I don't know, to keep that secret. Could he be doing that? Are there plans within plans behind the scenes? And this is all just a big misdirect? If they didn't already have announced what their specific roles were, then I would probably have hope for that. As it is, I don't know, but I hope that this is a big misdirect because I think that would just be so cool for the character of the Gola hate. I think that would be a really interesting way to establish the Bay Tleilax and what they do. Let me know what you think of Nicole Wolf Momoa, his dad's comments. Could this be a big misdirect? Or again, what has been assumed that he'll be in Visions, both him and Ida Brooke. If that's what the big plan is, just to have them as Visions, or if there'll be more significant roles, let me know what you think.